Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Now, some of you, for technical reasons, did not get to see last week's show. So after we update you on some big events on the local scene, we'll present some highlights from that show during this spring break week when, along with the rain, at the start of the week, athletic events are curtailed. Well, this was a bit of a surprise when people recently opened up the local Times newspaper. After spending the past 8 seasons as Chestatee head football coach, Stan Luttrell has accepted a job as strength and conditioning coach and defensive assistant coach at Buford. Now, prior to Chestatee, Luttrell had served as head coach at Union County and as an assistant at Johnson. Reports say that Luttrell will replace Dickie May at Buford. He's retiring at the end of the academic year after 28 years of coaching in Gwinnett County, the past 7 at Buford. Now, Luttrell was hired at Chestatee before the 2006 season. He was 46-38 over 8 seasons, and he led the War Eagles to their only playoff victory in school history, a 41-13 smacking of Grady in the first round of the Class 4A state playoffs this past season. He played his college ball at Carson Newman, where he was a linebacker. Now, we'd hoped to have Coach Luttrell on the show, but his father's passed away up in Tennessee, and of course, Stan is dealing with that. Thoughts and prayers with him and the family, maybe some other time. Meanwhile, Brenau University has a new volleyball coach. He is Atlanta Volleyball Club co-founder Michael Carter. Carter replaces Jeff White, who left the team earlier this year for the job at Birmingham Southern in Alabama. Brenau Athletic Director Mike Lockstamper says the combination of Carter's college and his business background in running a club make him a good fit for the Golden Tigers. The 40-year-old Carter, originally from North Carolina, was head coach at Spelman College from 1997 to 2000, but he left the collegiate ranks to concentrate on club coaching. Carter played his collegiate volleyball at George Mason University from 94 to 97, and he was the varsity team captain. He was an assistant coach at Marymount University in 96 and 97. Okay, turning to high school baseball. Last week, North Hall completed a sweep of previously unbeaten and state-ranked White County. After beating the Warriors 11-6 in the rain the Friday before, North Hall rode a complete game 2-hit shutout and an RBI double and a home run by Micah Strickland off UGA signee and pro prospect Spencer Adams to the win. Region 8-5A, meanwhile, has now become rather interesting with Loganville's 4-1 win over Gainesville last week. High school soccer. Now, we told you about the Johnson boys soccer team. Well, the Johnson girls are also winning. Evelyn Aviata had a hat trick in the Lady Knights' 10-0 thrashing of Rabun County, and when the Johnson girls beat Eastside 6-0, it was the Lady Knights' 8th straight win. Kelsey Dumanowski with 2 goals and an assist. West Hall swept Banks County on the road with hat tricks being recorded in each win, boys and girls games. Cesar Villa had the tray in the Spartans' 10-0 smacking of the Leopards, while Gabriel Ligas turned the trick and added an assist in the Lady Spartans' 7-0 victory. Meanwhile, in another sport, congratulations to East Hall's Kevon Davenport, named AAA Honorable Mention All-State Basketball. Last week we told you that in 4A, Chestatee's Bridget Kelly was an honorable mention, and Johnson's James Hodges made the second team. Well, the first female wrestler in Gainesville high school history gets to wrestle some more. Leslie Hernandez recently signed a scholarship to compete for the women's wrestling team at the University of the Cumberlands in Williamsburg, Kentucky. All right, turning to something we don't talk about very often at all, the Riverside Military Academy air rifle team was victorious over Jordan High School during the state semifinals back on March 27th. Final score there was RMA 11-22 and Jordan 10-74. The top Riverside shooter, posting a score of 286 out of a possible 300, was Yu-Woo Zia. Riverside's team will advance to the Georgia High School Association, the GHSA State Championship at Fort Benning on April the 12th. RMA team members include Benjamin Park, a senior from Seoul, Korea, twin brothers and seniors, Yuan Zia and Yu-Woo Zia from Dali, China, Yu Chen Wang, a junior from Kunming, Yunnan, China, Nevin Seagraves, an 8th grader from Tennessee, and Soon Young Kim, a sophomore from Seoul, Korea. The coach is Thomas Walker. Well, the North Hall track boys competed last week in the Greater Atlanta Christian Spartan Classic, and they won it. North Hall, in fact, beat runner-up Buford 127-122. Third was Westminster, fourth was Wesleyan, and fifth was the host school, GAC. Quentin Miles won the 3,200-meter run in 9:44.73. Destin Bennett won the discus for the Trojans with a toss of 147.80. He also finished third in the shot put. Other places include Dylan Trulove, second in the shot and third in the discus. Isaac Side was second in the 300 hurdles and third in the 110 hurdles and the long jump. Malik Gill was second in the high jump and fourth in the triple jump. Gil Hoffman was second in the pole vault. Drew Bryant was runner-up in the discus, and Joe Gradig was second in the 9th to 10th grade 100 meters. Got more sports for you in just a moment. We are on the set of Hall County Sports Television. I'm Gary Glenn, along with McKelvey Road United Methodist Church Pastor Rob Bruce. And Rob, you've got a sermon series going on through Lent, through the season of Lent, but also some special services here at the church during Holy Week.
We sure do, and we'd like to invite the community to these. The first one is our drama that's going to be held on Maundy, Thursday at 7 p.m. in Stewart Hall, which is called Underneath the Upper Room. It's a drama about the women that waited on the men at the Last Supper with Jesus. We expect it to be exciting, and we'd love to have you join us. Then on Easter, we have 4 services. 7:30 a.m., we have our sunrise service, followed by a pancake breakfast, and then our regular services at 8:30, 10 o'clock, and 11, and we'd love to have you join us if you're looking for a church.
All right. Thank you very much, Rob. We appreciate all that, and we'll see you during Lent and also on Easter Sunday morning.
See you then, Gary.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn. This is Hall County Sports. Now, after we had presented the results from the recent WUAP USA weightlifting meet held locally in Gainesville, I was contacted by the head of the organization here in the state, Stephen Parkhurst, and I was told that Stephen had made a wrong post of some records. So John Collier's efforts, although they were strong, apparently were not records. Okay, I'll talk about that during the thing, but just keep that in mind. Let's take you back now to a couple of Saturdays ago and the Iron Beast Gym. It was a good day, but not a great day in the home gym of the Georgia Iron Dogs at the Iron Beast this past Saturday at the North Georgia Ox Movers Powerlifting and Bench Press meet, sanctioned by the World United Amateur Powerlifters, or WUAP USA's division. Now, the Dogs came away with some national records and 2 Best Lifter awards, but the Dogs' Tim T-Moon failed to get that 805-pound bench press he's long been chasing. Lifting in the Masters men's 308-pound 50 to 54-year-old equipped class, the 280-pound Moon went 0 for 3 on his attempts. Well, I'm very disappointed today. 805 was not to be had, Tim said. Close, but no cigar. Well, a large crowd had turned out to watch T attempting to become the top-ranked 50-year-old bench presser in the world. His last attempt, I think, was his closest, but he could not get the proper angle under the weight to push it. And Tim apologized for not coming through. I've seen him do that weight a couple of times in practice, and the fact is, T-Moon's one of the strongest men on the planet Earth, and I feel it's just a matter of time before he gets it in the meet. I serve as the bench press team captain of the Dogs, and I'm pleased with a couple of our guys getting those Best Lifter awards. And now Eric Head and Dwayne Manning in the bench, Little John Collier in both the bench press and full power divisions, and Jance Footed in full power. They haven't lifted with us in a while. It's great to see them back on the platform. In fact, our Iron Dogs, 148-pounders Head of Swanee and George Bradley of Gainesville, swept the bench press Best Lifter awards. Head lifted raw or unequipped in the meet, and he pressed 350 pounds to win the open division, while Bradley in the Masters men's 55, 59-year-old equipped class won the equipped side with a lift of 225 pounds. By the way, Eric's lift established the national record. That's about 5 pounds more than George got last time out in Savannah in February, so he was pleased with that effort. He missed his last attempt at 235, while Eric fell shy in 2 attempts at 400 pounds. Now, I weighed in at a little over 202 pounds Saturday morning, broke the WUAP USA Raw Masters Men's 220-pound class national record with my second attempt at 315 pounds, and then I reset it twice more with a third lift of 325 and a fourth lift of 330 pounds. I had a good day, thank the Lord. Our coach Mike Kidd said I might have had a little more in me, but that's around 10 pounds more than I got in Savannah, so I'm quite happy with it. That's probably my last meet in the 50 to 59-year-old age class as I turned 60 in May. That's hard to believe. Well, I guess that's a good way to finish up in the division. I won the class, was second overall in the Masters bench standings to the 275-pound 40 to 44-year-old Raw winner William Allen of Marietta, who pushed 420 pounds on the day. Now, Dwayne Manning of Oakwood achieved his goal of 315, established the national record in taking the title of the Raw 198-pound 40 to 44-year-old division. Little John Collier of Flowery Branch benched 335 to win the Raw bench only junior. That's the 20 to 23-year-old 220-pound class. Well, he added a squat of 365 and a deadlift of 455 to win the Raw full power division in that class as well, with a total of 1,155 pounds. His bench, deadlift, and total all established national records. Now, Jance Footed, who lists Brazelton as his home address, had a squat of 500 pounds, a bench press of 365, and a deadlift of 590, a total of 1,455, and winning the Raw 220-pound open full power class. Iron Dog Zach Layfield of Flowery Branch won the Raw Masters men's 70 to 74-year-old 165-pound bench-only class with his press of 175 pounds, and he fell just shy of a personal record of 195 on his third lift. His lift did establish the national record in his class. Now, the Best Lifter Award in the Raw Full Power class went to 275-pound champion Michael Howell of Meansville, Georgia. That's close to Griffin. He squatted 725, benched 440, and deadlifted 770 to come only 65 pounds shy of a ton of total weight at 1,935 pounds. The squat, deadlift, and total, all national records. Now, meanwhile, at the American Powerlifting Committee state meet in Athens, Iron Dogs and Raw Masters husband and wife lifters Russ and Dana Tripp of Lawrenceville had good meets. Russ ended up with 145 kilograms. That's 319.67 pounds on the bench. That was enough to win his class. And he just missed setting a new American record with a fourth attempt that he just wasn't able to push. That was down over last year, but it was up since having to rehab a shoulder injury. Dana won her class, setting new state and American records with a final of 46.5 kilograms, or 102.51 pounds. She also added another Best Lifter trophy to her collection. Russ had weighed in a little under 163 pounds, and Dana a little over 111. Dana, by the way, also earned her referee badge, so she is now an official to judge any state or national APC competition. Now, Iron Dog Landon Jameson, who spotted and loaded to this meet this past Saturday, on Saturday, March the 22nd in Macon, won the Central Georgia Strongest Man title in the super heavyweight division. And we bring to the show Landon Jameson now, just off of the Central Georgia Strongest Man competition. Thanks for taking time out to be with us.
Yeah, it's not a problem, Gary. Good morning. How you doing?
All right. Tell me a little bit about your background now. Were you a high school athlete? You went to school at North Gwinnett High School, true?
Yes.
Okay. Were you an athlete in high school?
Yeah, I played a couple of sports in high school: baseball, football, wrestling. That was about it. I lifted weights as much as possible because that was my main hobby. So.
Now, after high school, went into the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right after high school.
Now, that must have been a little bit of a culture shock to you.
Yeah, it was a big culture shock. You know, I remember laying in my rack at Paris Island thinking, "What in the world have I got myself into?" Yeah, it was a big change. It's a big thing that a lot of kids aren't ready for. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But in the Marine Corps, you did a couple of tours, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to Iraq and Afghanistan a couple of times. I was an infantryman. I was stationed in Camp Pendleton, California, 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, Weapons Company. So that's where I spent all my time, out in sunny Camp Pendleton, California.
Wow. Okay. All right. All of that behind you. Thank God you survived, son, and came on back to us. But after all that, now you get back in to the States, wanting to continue your education, but then you get into weightlifting as a competition. What got you back into that?
Well, after I got done with my last deployment to Afghanistan in 2010, I had always had my eye on, growing up, I'd always watched World's Strongest Man on TV, and I always thought, man, I want to be one of those guys. They're huge, they're strong, you know. So when I got back, I remember I was just sitting in my barracks room on the computer just trying to find out where I could get into this kind of thing, and I found a little organization called North American Strongman. They're the only sanctioning strongman organization in America, and I noticed they had amateur contests, and I noticed that one was coming up in my local area in Orange County, California. So I called the guy and I was like, "Hey, how do I enter?" And he was like, "Well, have you ever trained?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Okay, you need to come here on Saturday at this time and meet me so we can train." And I was like, "All right." So that's how I got into it. I met a crew to train with in California, and when I moved back home, I found Iron Beast, and so it just went up from there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've done some powerlifting competitions as well, because I've seen you and worked with you during some powerlifting competitions as well. How do those sports complement one another, other than the obvious that you're picking up heavy weight?
Well, it translates well into the static events, not necessarily moving, obviously,
right.
But in things like the deadlift, that's a big event in strongman. Your bench press really helps out, and your overhead press for a strongman. And that's really about it. But you use those basic three movements to build off of everything else. So it really translates well.
Now, which one do you like better?
I like strongman a little bit better. It's a little more brutal and you know, when you do it, you're like, oh God, this is the most. Why am I doing this? This feels awful. I'm in a world of pain. You know, so it's outside. You're baking in the sun or the rain or what have you. You know, so it's. I like powerlifting though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, all right. But you're saying it's kind of a challenge there.
Yeah,
definitely. And it's, you're moving around like all this elements. Now, I think powerlifters are a little crazy, but you guys are really crazy. I mean, who'd have thought there'd ever be a market for giant balls of concrete and things like that?
Right, or picking up a 900-pound yoke and trying to walk down the street with it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Now you've had a little bit. You've had some fairly high places, but this is your first championship.
Yeah, this was my first win. I didn't expect to win going into it. I have so much school and other things on my plate. I trained as hard as I could. I felt really good about it, but other guys could show up at it from anywhere,
Right.
and be a lot more strong than you are, So I didn't know. I just went into the first event, did as many reps as I could with the log, dropped it on the ground, walked off, and then the next guy behind me only did like 5, I think, and so I went, oh, this might be a good day.
There you go. All right. So kind of take me through the day. What were the events that you did in Macon?
The first one was a log press for reps and a 60-second time limit. It was a 280-pound log, which is really lightweight for me. It's body weight, but it's pretty light as far as my pressing capabilities. The next one was a car deadlift for reps. It was a 4-door Volkswagen Golf GTI with 400-pound plates in the back. So the bar weight was actually like 880 pounds. I pulled it for 7 reps. 10 won it, the event. The next was a yoke, which was 50 feet down, 50 feet back. It was 750 pounds with a 60-second time limit. After that was a giant tire flip. It was a 950-pound tire for 5 flips down, 5 back. And then after that, it was a 340-pound stone over a bar that's 56 inches high for reps and a 60-second time limit.
Wow. So, Landon, we're talking not only some strength here, but some endurance.
Yeah, everything is, you got to learn to operate without oxygen, because you think your mind tells you to stop, you need air, but if you do, then you might lose that event, so you got to learn to operate without oxygen.
And it's like almost like a decathlon. You don't have to win every event, but you need to place pretty high. You get like total points kind of thing?
Yeah, if you know what a lot of guys will do is if they know the guys that are at that show, they'll kind of pace themselves through that show. Just kind of, since it's not so much like powerlifting where you got to hit this 500-pound bench press or else you lose.
Right.
You might just do what you need to do to win that event. Some guy might not, be able to press that 300 or 400-pound log, but you can do it, so you just go up and do the minimal amount to take that event.
And to save yourself for the rest of the competition. Yeah, sure.
Because you got 5 events to go through, and they're all around 90% of your maximum, strength capability anyhow. So.
Now you're in school now, but what do you hope to do with the strongman stuff?
Well, I want to take it all the way. I want to go to the World's Strongest Man. I've always had my eye on that. The only thing holding me back right now is money for food and training time. I'm an engineering student, and physics and chemistry and math takes up 300% of my time.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm like staying up all night and everything. Doing the whole thing. So.
And we want to tell folks Landon actually dropped by between classes to visit with us on the show here, and we appreciate him taking the time. Well, so what's the next competition for you?
It's in June. It's in Douglasville, Georgia, at a place called Fitness Depot. It's a little kind of like a Dick's Sporting Goods store. And that event will be it'll be the heaviest amateur contest in the country, more than likely. So.
So what size are you now? How tall? What do you weigh?
I'm 6'3", 290 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
So
that makes you in the super heavyweight.
Yeah, but I'm a small super heavyweight.
Right.
Though. Every time I show up, they're like, "Oh, there's the skinny heavyweight." Everybody's like 340 pounds or something like that. Oh, there's the skinny guy.
Oh, amazing. All right, Landon, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, Gary, anytime, bud.
Man, and good luck to you in this competition and in your school as well. Okay. All right, Landon Jameson trying to be not only Georgia's strongest man, but the nation's strongest man, and maybe someday the world's strongest man, and we wish him good luck. We're back with more Hall County Sports in just a moment.
Turner Wood & Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905, Turner Wood & Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wood & Smith, ensuring your future since 1905.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn. This is Hall County Sports. Well, Gainesville had its own version of March Madness this past Saturday, and the Gainesville High School gym as the 3rd annual All-Star Basketball Games were held. The games pitted teams of players from the Gainesville and Hall County area against teams from neighboring counties. This year, the visitors turned the tables on our local guys and gals. The away girls, coached interestingly enough by Chestatee Webb Daniel, took down the Hall County squad 70-53, with the Most Valuable Player award going to Pickens County's Sarah Smith. Now, that one was kind of decisive, but now let me tell you, the boys' game was really something. Tons of ties and lead changes and hard play, people diving for balls all over the place. And the away guys would win it 97-95, a great show for the crowd. Johnson's James Hodges led all scoring with 29, but the MVP for the winners was Mark Moon of Elbert County, who scored 18 in the victory.
Oh, I have James Hodges from Johnson High School and Mark Moon from Elbert County High School. First of all, congratulations, guys. Great game. Now, I know this was an exhibition game, but it looked like there a couple of times you guys were taking this pretty seriously. I mean, diving for loose balls and all that kind of stuff. When you get in a game like this, I guess the competitive juices kick in, don't they?
Oh, yes, sir. We just came out here to compete, try to win.
What about it, James?
I mean, same here. We just came out here to try to compete, get the fans a show, and do what we had to do.
Man, and it looks like you did that. What's it like playing in an all-star game with all this talent where everybody's pretty good?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me because, just the opportunity of being out here, with some of my opponents and stuff, I'm very thankful.
And an MVP. Now, how's that feel out of all this talent?
Oh, man, that's just hard work I put in over the summer. It just shows it pays off.
James, leading scorer in the game, 29 points, but the team comes up a little shy. I mean, I know you always want to win, but, man, it must have been fun playing with all this group of guys.
Yes, sir. It's been really fun playing with this group of guys. I had a good day.
Now, both of you still got schools you're looking at, right? Okay. You expect to play at the next level. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm very excited, It's a new start, a new opportunity, new teammates, new journey in life. I'm very excited about it.
And when you get to the next level, James, everybody's going to be pretty good.
Yes, sir, they are.
All right. Thanks, guys. Congratulations, MVP. Mark Moon and James Hodges of Johnson High School leading scorer in the game. Mark with 18 and James with 29 points on the day in the All-Star game.
Now, I also had a chance to talk to the All-Star coaches, Jeff Steele of Johnson and Andre McIntyre of Clark Central.
Coaches of the All-Star teams here, Andre McIntyre of Clark Central, Jeff Steele of Johnson High School. First of all, guys, now I know this was an exhibition game. It was for fun and all that kind of stuff. But I saw you guys. And I know that competitive juice starts flowing a little bit, especially in this game. What a game, huh?
Oh,
I mean, it was a great game. It winds up 2 points in a high-scoring game, run and gun, lead changes, ties, all that kind of stuff.
I think it was great coaching.
Give us some props.
All right, we get some props. All right, all that coaching. I mean, I saw you doing some coaching. But tell me, Coach, what's it like to work with this all-star talent? All these, all these guys are good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great time. My biggest thing was making sure all of them get playing time. The player game and the coach a game with no stress, you can't beat that. So, we had a great time. If I can get all this talent on my team, regular season, it'll be even better.
What about it, Steve?
But no, hey, it was fun. I had a good time coaching. These kids were great. We had one practice, and they picked everything up really fast, and we kind of played like my team plays, up and down. Mm-hmm. Shot free throws about like my team does too.
Now, what are you thinking there going down the stretch when it's tight and the lead changes back and forth? Again, it winds up a 2-point ball game.
Right.
Nobody really had control of this thing to the end, Coach.
No, it was. We started thinking about some strategy there. Who need to come out and shoot free throws? Who need my defense liability? So now it's starting to get into game mode where you're thinking about, okay, who needs to be in, who should be subbed in and out. So, we play to have fun, but at the end you want to win.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, same thing. We had the pressure a little bit. I had to do some offensive, defensive substitutions down the stretch. I'm sure Coach did too, thinking about who can give you what at what time in the game. And a 2-point game, you can think of 1,000 things you could have done differently. I'm sure Coach could too. But it was great coaching the kids. They all had great attitudes, and it was my pleasure, really my pleasure to do this.
Yeah.
Gary Glenn back on Hall County Sports. We are at our baseball game of the week, coming to you from Chestatee High School, where the War Eagles have just defeated the Johnson Knights 4-3. The War Eagles scoring 4 runs on 9 hits. They did commit 2 errors. They left 10 on board. And the Johnson Knights, 3 runs on 7 hits. They committed an error. They left 4. And I think 3 of those 4 all left at third. So it's a tribute to the War Eagle defense there by stranding those guys at third. Johnson at 4-12 overall, dropping to 1-5 in the league. And Chestatee will rise to 3-14 overall and 1-6 in the league. Caleb Jamison picks up the win, goes to 2-3 on the year. He struck out 9. And Lane Chansey absorbs the loss to drop to 1-3. And Coach Kyle Counts joins us now. And Kyle, first of all, congratulations on this first win in the region. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. I appreciate it. We came out looking for a positive thing to happen tonight. We've been 0-6 in the region so far, and we just really needed something positive for our kids to come along here and get some momentum and finish out the season strong, and that happened tonight, so we're happy about that.
And Caleb, with a good pitching performance for him, went the distance, got the complete game win, and also helped out himself at the plate, had 2 hits on the night, scored a run, had an RBI. Hey, you can't ask for much more than that out of your pitcher.
No, not too much. You know, Caleb's a very good complete player. He can play the field, he can hit a little bit, and he's great on the mound. I always like having a guy out there on the mound that's as competitive as Caleb, and I think that's probably his strongest suit. It's not his arm, his bat, his legs, it's his competitive character.
Well, he's a left-hander, so that gives you a little bit of a weapon too, huh?
Absolutely. It's always good to have a lefty on the mound also.
Now, what's the attitude on the team? I know you got some youth here, and you're kind of working your way into things here as you work yourself into the situation here at Chesterton High School. So what's kind of the attitude on the team now?
Well, you know, it changes from game to game. You know, when we struggle a little bit, sometimes, you know, kids have the tendency to get down on themselves a little bit. And I've just been trying to stay positive with these guys and our coaches and our whole coaching staff, just trying to stay positive and find things to celebrate. You know, when things aren't going so well for you, like they haven't been the last 6 games, you got to find things to stay positive. We found some things tonight, and hopefully that we can build on those.
Yeah, something to build on.
And our guys will continue to be positive as we go throughout this thing. And when good things happen, you know, sometimes baseball's a funny game like that. When bad things happen, you can't get them to stop. When good things happen, hopefully you can't get those to stop either.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Good luck the rest of the way. All right? We'll see if we can get a word with Caleb now.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Gary.
All right. Caleb Jamison joins us now. And, Caleb, first of all, congratulations on the win. I thought you had a good selection of pitches going for you tonight, and most of the time they all worked.
Yes, sir. Been working real hard at practice, trying to get the changeup down. Didn't have to really use it tonight, though. But been working with my curveball and my slider a lot lately, trying to, you know, have a repertoire of pitches, be able to put runners out.
And now I thought the fastball, when you needed it, you had that going too.
Yes, sir. Trying to work outside a little bit, but they were hitting the outside pitches, and then tried to work them in, jammed a little bit, and then they got little bloop hits, but, you know, it worked a little bit.
Well, and the runs they got tonight were unearned, so, you know, that's going to help your ERA if nothing else, huh?
Yes, sir. I mean, my teammates still worked hard behind me, you know, and we didn't mean to make the errors. You know, we're still working and trying to keep the errors down so we can get some W's.
Caleb, tonight you actually helped yourself out at the plate. Had a run scored, had 2 hits, run scored, and RBI.
Yes, sir. Last year I struggled a little bit, and we've all been just working real hard at practice, you know, trying to battle from last year to this year, make a difference, and we're all trying to get our hits in.
All right, Caleb Jamison of the War Eagles, congratulations on the win tonight for both you and the team. All right, thank you very much. All right, and once again, that final from Chastity, it's Chastity 4 and Johnson 3. I'm Gary Glenn, and we'll be right back in the studio to wrap things up on this week's show. All right, a couple of final notes for you. Gary Glenn here in Hall County Sports is the show. Some more lacrosse camps at Riverside, June the 2nd through the 5th. And June 9th through the 12th. It's 4-day camp each time, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And if you are interested, contact Alan Tallman at Riverside Military, 770-532-6251, extension 2129, or you can email him at atallman@riversidemilitary.com. Some 5K runs coming up the morning of Saturday, April 19th for you runners. The Spring Fling and 5K in Clarksville will be run at Pitts Park. Bethlehem Baptist in charge of that, www.bbcofclarksville.org. That's www.bbcofclarksville.org for more info there. And at Riverside, they will run the Hula Hustle. You can register online at www.active.com for that one. And remember, the McKever Road United Methodist Men's Annual Golf Tournament also going to be on April the 19th at Mossy Creek Golf Course in Cleveland, beginning with breakfast at 8. They still need some hole sponsors, $50 a hole. Teams of 4 signing up for $200 per team. If you want to be a sponsor or like to play or want more information, you can contact Lloyd Smee at 770-967-3206 for that. And finally, for those of you who've been wanting to see the new grandson, well, here's the boy, Blake Otis Glenn. Don't know if he's smiling at Grandpa or if it's just gas. Got to get him on those weighted rattles, though, and start training. I'm Gary Glenn. Join us next week right here for more Hall County Sports. Hall County Sports is brought to you in part by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals. And remember, when you go Green Ford. By Mountain View Auto Repair, a full-service shop for all of your automotive needs. Call Danny at Mountain View Auto Repair at 770-535-7278. And by McKever Road United Methodist Church. Visit us on McKever Road in Oakwood With 3 worship services every Sunday morning, Kids Town and adult small groups, McEver Road United Methodist Church is dedicated to transforming the world through the good news of Jesus Christ.